YouTubers, welcome back to AZ2 Ozarks. Missouri has what's called a landowner permit for hunting, and if you own 20 acres or more of land and you've been residing here for 30 days or more, you can apply for this permit free of charge. And then the deer hunting season is a short season. It's only 2 weeks long for rifle, longer for archery. But it's pretty cool that you can hunt on your own land and not have any fee associated with that. Now, historically, I have not enjoyed eating deer meat. It had, I don't know, everybody calls it gamey, a gamey flavor that I didn't particularly care for much. But shortly after moving here, we had gone to the farmer's market and there were a couple ladies giving a tutorial on how to can and prepare deer meat. So we got to chatting with them and heard them out for what they had to say. And then they had 3 different types of recipes for the deer meat. So the deer meat prepared 3 different ways. And one was barbecue, one was fried, and the other was in a soup. And so they were giving out samples and we tried it and it was good. It was really good. I liked it. Like, not only like was it tolerable, it was actually good. And my kids tried it and they just kept asking for more. So these gals were like grandma age and the kids kept asking for more and they gladly kept giving them more. And all I could think is these ladies probably think I never feed my poor kids. But the point is we all liked how they prepared it. And they gave me their recipes for the 3 ways they prepared it, as well as instructions for canning. And so, equipped with that, I felt more confident that I could process deer meat in a way that we would enjoy. We also happened to be out talking to the UPS guy a couple weeks ago, and he says, "Have you seen that big buck that is on your property?" And I said, "Sure enough, I have. We've seen that buck. We're keeping an eye on him. He's a good looking buck." But Rick wasn't home. He was still in Arizona at the time. And deer season was about to begin. And we were torn as to whether or not we would try and get it without him. But we waited till he got back and he was able to get that buck. But when we were talking to the UPS guy, my son was out there with me because he carries in all the heavy packages. He's really great with that. The UPS guy was like, "Oh, you're gonna mount the head?" And Keegan was all excited about that. He's like, "Oh yeah, I want to mount the head." I said, "Well, we don't really want to have to pay a taxidermist and go through all this process." And the UPS guy said, "Oh, you can do it yourself for a skull mount." And he went on to explain that what you do is you take the head, the whole head with the antlers and all, you dig a hole and you put the head in up to the antlers and you bury it. And when you bury it, all the insects and bacteria and stuff clean off everything off of it, and all you're left with is a skull. But because there's such high content of clay in our soil, it kind of stains the bone, the skull, red. And Keegan thought that was really cool. So that's what we have done with that part. He also wanted the hide. And well, I've never done a deer hide before. This is my first. But I'm open to trying new things. So I'm just in the early stage here of just scraping it, getting the meat off. This really was our first deer that we processed as a family. Rick years ago had gotten a deer at my grandpa's ranch in Colorado. So out there, my grandpa, he doesn't like hunting deer on his property. They're like, you know, pets to him, and he enjoys seeing them, and we do as well. But there was a deer that wasn't well. It had a form of deer pink eye, and the poor thing just kept running into the barbed wire fences. It couldn't see, so it's like kept leaping, trying to get out of the fields, but it's crashing into the barbed wire fences. And so my grandpa had called their equivalent of whatever the game warden is out there and talked to them, and they said, oh yeah, there's nothing we can do about that, but here's a tag number and you can go ahead and take care of that deer. And my grandpa not wanting to do it, he had Rick do that, but we didn't process it, and this was before we had kids anyhow. We hung it and they gutted it, but my grandpa just wanted to take it to a butcher, and that's what he did. So we didn't have any experience with this, but as a family we processed this deer, all the meat off, the skinning, and so Keegan was mostly involved with helping Rick with that part, and the other two kids were intrigued and watching, and you should have seen Samantha. So they were digging the hole for the head, and Samantha is carrying around the head by the antlers, and she's like walking around, walking over to the hole carrying these antlers, and it was just one of those funny images to imagine. I'm not showing you any of that footage or any pictures from that, just because YouTube has some pretty strong guidelines around that kind of thing. And in all honesty, I don't know if they'll even allow this, but if we take an animal, we want to use it. We don't want to waste. And so we're processing this skin. Keegan wants it as a rug or a blanket or something. And I ended up canning most of the meat. So I canned 20 quarts of deer meat, following the instructions the gals gave me. And then there were some really nice cuts. And so I put 4 packages of those into the freezer for fresh preparation. And I'd say each of those are probably 2 pounds. I didn't weigh all the meat together. But right after I canned it, we tried making it barbecue style from the recipes we were given. And it was good. I liked it. So I feel much more optimistic about it. And this isn't going to go to waste. And we're going to eat it. It still has a smell that I don't particularly care for, but the flavor was very much like beef. It wasn't any different than that to me. So this handsome buck is going to be put to good use and fill our bellies for a while, and also provide us with a bit of decoration and utility. So I'm pretty excited about that. The permit would have allowed us to get more than one, so we could have taken a buck and a doe, and frankly there's plenty of does around here. We could have done that, but just while we're getting started off, we didn't want to bite off more than we could chew per se. We wanted to make sure we could do this and be respectful to the animals, and we can. So next year will be another opportunity, and we'll see if we take 1 or 2 next year. But overall, we're really pleased with this and excited. So have you guys gotten any deer yet this year? You guys are probably all experts. Put down in the comments below. Let me know what your experience is. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more updates in the future.